aspects of life. There could be a scholar who has mastered the Vedas. There are people who are called Chaturvedis. Chaturvedis means people who have mastered all 4 Vedas. But he may not have true jnana, which is the difference between the permanent and the impermanent. And on the other hand, there was this illiterate, simple man, Tukaram, who understood what had to be understood. The Brahmins of the time told him, you have no right to study the Gita. You are not qualified to study the Gita. And the irony is, every Brahmin after that has to study Tukaram to be considered educated. Forget a Brahmin. And that's what life is all about. Like Kalidasa said, once you understand that the world and all that it has to offer to you is senseless. It has no value per se. Why? Because it comes only to go away. And a wise man, like Wordsworth said, does not lend his heart to aught which doth on time depend. So this is it. Now, how do you cultivate these 3 in your daily life? First of all, if you are serious about cultivating sattva, you must understand that firstly you must understand that all human beings across the world, whether they know it or not, whether they acknowledge it or not, all of us have the 3 qualities of sattva, rajas and tamas. The proportion varies. But what's interesting is, whatever quantum of sattva you have within you surfaces between 4 and 6 a.m. every morning. So if you're serious about cultivating sattva, you should make sure that you're awake at that time. And now it's not just enough to be awake. And then invest your energies, invest this sattva in gaining more sattva, in the study of the scriptures. Study doesn't mean just reading or listening. Why is it that we are unable to, we listen to a lot of lectures, we read a lot of books, we do all kinds of practices, and then when you go back, temporarily you come up with some spiritual activity, then you're back to square one, you're back to the same selfish, self-centered person. This is because the listening or the reading has not been followed up by reflection. So you gain knowledge through 3 processes. Shravana, which is listening or reading. Manana, reflection, thinking, analyzing, going over it, experimenting with it, and trying it out in your own life. It is only when you do that you arrive at the 3rd stage, which is called Nididhyasana. You're fit to meditate and roll over to the state of realization. So the proportion of Shravana to Manana, the proportion of reading to reflection is 1:9. If you spend 1 hour reading, you must spend 9 hours reflecting. Now the problem with us is we don't even read or listen. So the Manana is a far cry. Then, when you go out to work, apply YTD at work. Yeah? Now you've got a simple catchword, YTD. Instead of Yajna, Tapa, Dana, by the time you say Yajna, Tapa, Dana, you're tired. You don't want to practice it. So you're YTD at work. Whatever actions you perform, do it in a spirit of fix a higher ideal and work towards that ideal. Find pleasure in the striving, in the disciplines that are required for you to achieve the goal. And always, always maintain an attitude of giving. And the last thing is, when you go back home, you need to unwind because you've been using your intellect, you've been discriminating, you've been working hard, you've been striving. When on your way home, most of us commute at least half an hour, 1 hour, right? So when you're caught in traffic, instead of your blood pressure rising, sit down, relax, listen to some uplifting music. Classical music is the best, but if you don't have an ear for classical music, bhajans, anything, any music that inspires you. And when you listen to that music, you find you've unwound, you've relaxed, all the pressures and the negativities that have come up during the day leave you, and you're ready for dinner and a peaceful night, rest. So this is what it is. For now, we move now to verse 33.